Aloha and welcome back. Today we're just going to be talking about simple archery 101. We're just going to keep it easy. I've been getting some questions about just the simpler aspects of archery equipment. So I'm just going to go over the 3 to 4 things that you basically need to do the sport. So first, obviously, you're going to need a bow or something that shoots some arrows. There are many different things that shoot arrows now. I mean, feel free to take a look around the internet, from atlatls to slingshots to crossbows, compound bows. This is a longbow, my form of preference. Second thing you're going to need are some arrows, obviously. There's a lot of science that can go into picking the right type of arrows for your bow. But honestly, just get out there, pick up something, and go shoot at something. Preferably something inanimate that you can practice on over and over again. I've got probably one of the very few raccoons in the state of Hawaii here. Leave a comment down below, see if we can name him. We'll give him a name. And then let's see, what else do we need? We need something to protect your arm from the string. Sometimes when you let go of the string, it does hit your inner arm here. So make sure you bring either a long sleeve shirt works or an arm guard. This one was made. Also, you're gonna need something to protect your fingers from the repetitive grabbing and letting go of the string. So this is a archery tab. Basically just fits on over my 3 fingers, and then that goes on the string. All right, now let's take a couple of shots here. Mr. No Name Raccoon is gonna be our practice victim for today. Well, we'll see how close we can get to him. Archery from a seated position is complicated no matter who you ask. All right, so first thing you want to do is get yourself set up. So depending on what dominant arm you have is what side you'll be putting your arm guard on. So since I hold the bow with my left hand and I pull it with my right hand, I'm going to put the arm guard here on my left arm. Next, you got your finger, right? Your finger guard, whatever type you like. They have gloves. This is a archery tab. People make them. You can make some of your own. You can go and get some. There are lots of different ways to get into archery. Nothing has to be expensive if you don't want it to be. Simply just go and check something out. There are lots of reviews out there, lots of different stuff. I've always really enjoyed Fleetwood Products. They seem to have things in all different categories. If you want to start off inexpensive or you want to get really expensive, this longbow is somewhere in the middle. As well as arrows. I mean, arrows can get very expensive as well. I like these. These are Black Eagles. They shoot well. They've got a bit of a helical feathering to them, which means the feathers actually kind of curve around the arrow. That's way more complicated than we need to talk about. Honestly, you can shoot a stick with some duct tape on it and have just as much fun. Maybe we'll try some of those one day. All right, now let's see if we can take a couple shots here. So, anatomy of an arrow, it has a knock here, right? You see there's a little bit of a split there. That split goes on your string. And the string also has, for me, an indicator point where to keep putting the arrow back to. Consistency is pretty important with this sport, so find a way to do the same thing every time. All right, now, so the arrow usually has an odd feather. This one has a black odd feather. The odd feather goes out, and your arrow sits on the rest here. Now this is an odd angle. We'll come in a little bit closer here. But it really just sits on top of your arrow rest. Right, and you can kind of see down the center here. Holds up a little bit. The rest of it is just letting go. not bad. We'll take a couple more shots so you can kind of see. So the way I shoot my arrows, get my hair out of the way here, my gosh, I'm gonna get it pulled off by this string, is I put 3 fingers underneath the arrow itself and I shoot it that way. And that's 3 fingers under. There are a lot of different types of ways to hold a string. This is my preference. I prefer to shoot under. It keeps the arrow a little bit closer to my eye, which helps me with better aiming. Now, there are numerous videos out there to learn different types of things. This is just simply how I like to shoot my arrows. They come off pretty consistently. Even right now, our no-name raccoon, those are all 10s. There might be one on the line over there. But really just finding your consistency. Now, I try to aim before I pull the string, because you don't want to pull the string and draw your bow and get stuck there because you don't know where you're going to put the arrow. So it's important you try to find your aiming point before that. And then when you draw back to the same place every time. So for me, I draw back, I put my middle finger here on the corner of my face, and then I release. Simple as that, right? So I'm gonna try that for you. So I'm gonna pick, well, obviously we wanna get it in the middle, right? But you sort of have to aim a little bit lower than what you're expecting because of the way arrows travel. That's got a lot to do with the way your eye and the angle of the arrow are converging against each other. It's called a parallax, but that's for later. Let's get you guys some bows, some equipment, and let's get you guys shooting some arrows. It is so fun to it just feels so powerful for a second. I mean, how connected you feel to the first people who figured out that you could take a small spear and throw it a little bit farther if you attach it to a string. And if it got a little bit of fletching, right, these feathers here, the fletching, then it was a lot more accurate. And over time, it just ended up being this perfect device of stick, string, and arrow. Now it's gotten more complicated, but I prefer traditional archery, and I love my Longbow. She's been doing me good. We'll use a different arrow. I think that knock is a little bit loose. This one. All right, so this will be our final arrow for the video here, but please, everybody, by all means, try it. It won't hurt. Aloha kako, and you have a wonderful day. Go shoot something.